Okay, really quickly, I would like to talk about adding more organic shapes into your perspective drawings. So I know a lot of us were interested in drawing like bodies of water or lakes or rivers or things like that, which is much different than drawing a road. So I will show you some techniques for that. I also want to talk about the background here because a lot of us just have this flat background, but just because this is your horizon line doesn't mean that it can't, you can't have things that are kind of beyond that. So like if this is my flat landscape, I could start putting in, maybe there's mountains, okay, right? Just like how we have our Blue Ridge Mountains. Maybe this fictional land or fictional city has some mountains in the background. So I can start to add that in. Maybe I start putting some of my details in here, okay? So that is definitely an option, okay? So where I have my mountains here, maybe I want to have a little stream coming from this way. So the trick with creating rivers or streams coming from a far away distance is that you want to make sure that your lines are still parallel with this horizon line. So I hold my pencil. Remember how we learned about sketching and holding our pencil from the end? I do kind of the same thing when I'm creating a stream, so that I start to draw almost like a curvy S shape, okay? And I just draw like one line, just like that. So I start off just like this, just one line. And then I'm going to continue and kind of parallel that line that I just drew, starting out very small, but then gradually getting larger and larger. And I know it's kind of cut off on the side here, but do you see how I've started creating it very small here, eventually getting larger and larger? And by keeping these lines here semi-parallel to your horizon line, it helps keep that river looking kind of flat on land instead of like a random squiggle in the middle of your in the middle of the land. Also, what might help is having some sort of other indicator that this land is flat. So right next to my river here, I might see some trees, right? And because this part of my river is much farther away, I know that my tree is going to appear much smaller, because things that are smaller look farther, or things that are farther away look smaller, okay? So same thing here, I might start to have a tree that's much closer to my buildings here, and I'm kind of covering up a lot of my river, but that's okay. Creative choices, yay. Okay. So I'm just quickly sketching this in, but my tree here is much bigger because it's much closer to these buildings. All right, so that's just some ways you could maybe add some organic objects into your drawings. But I do want you guys to really think about what's happening right at that horizon line. Are you drawing something that's straight on the ocean? So if it was the ocean, it would be completely flat here. But if it's not, then think about adding mountains. What's happening back here? Maybe this is a nice sunset, or I don't know. Some people might have, if this is a giant mountain here, maybe this road is going into a tunnel, right? So that's just something for you to think about with your drawings. So think about organic things, but also remember that we are focusing on creating buildings and structural things. So try and incorporate all those kinds of things into your drawings, because that's what really makes them look more lifelike.